Okay, everyone. Now we're going to talk about annuities. Annuities, I consider it a mirror image of a life insurance policy. So if we take a look at that concept, you're paying a lot of little payments for your life insurance, and as time goes on, okay, health changes, whatever, and then you die. Okay, sorry, you're dead. But here's the big lump sum payment or larger payments scheduled out for the beneficiaries. Now, an annuity, just the opposite. You're making payments for bigger payments, maybe just one in the beginning, maybe scattered, flexible premium, and then time goes on, and then you retire. You're taking little payments out. That's the typical annuity. We're going to learn why people annuitize, why people shouldn't. You know, it's a case-per-case basis. So let's talk about the major types of annuities and understand a little bit about how they help your people. Now, there's three major types: a fixed, equity index, and variable. Now, the SEC has fought quite a bit in court and lost. And quite frankly, I thought they should have been embarrassed, and I know the judge lambasted them for somewhat of stupidity, but equity index sounds like it's an investment, but it's not. It's a fixed. The performance on the index dictates approximately how much you're going to get credited for interest. You're not investing directly in the S&P 500. And you're not investing in the Stocks 50 in Europe or the NASDAQ. You're putting all your money general account. Just like in here, everything goes in the general account. Like your life insurance policy. You make payments into a cash value product, it goes into the general account of the insurance company. Here in the variable side, it goes into separate account, right? I can't spell to save my life. Separate account. Trust me, that says separate. Okay, now, what happens here is you decide, let's say I want 40% in NASDAQ 100, and then I want 60% for the S&P 500. Not bad. Not a bad mix. I mean, it just depends on how much risk and what you're trying to do. And here's the thing. You have a guarantee of 0 to 1% base. If the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ go down 50% in a year, you're going to make 0 to 1%. Just depends on the guarantee you got from your insurance company. That's why the SEC lost, is because there's no risk. There's just no risk. The principal is guaranteed. The insurance company doesn't put the money inside these indexes. They buy a small portion of that premium goes into index options on those. So if the index goes up, the option goes up. And they can credit more interest. Now typically there's a ceiling because, hey, if they're going to back out all the risk, then they're going to have a ceiling. Maybe it's 10%, maybe it's 12%. Maybe it's 5% or 6%. It just depends on the type of annuity. Now, here in the garbled up separate account, okay, you are investing in sister funds. They're not mutual funds. Get that out of your head. They're not mutual funds. They look like them. They have the names of the mutual funds, but they're invested in the separate account as the others are, as the funds. So if it says T. Rowe Price, and let's say you're going to put 100% in the T. Rowe Price Capital Appreciation Fund. Okay? The money's inside the separate account for that. Invest identically to the Capital Appreciation Fund. There's going to be little nuances, little quirks in that, but it's going to be very, very, very close. Okay? Now, if this goes down, so does your cash value, so does the value of your annuity. Okay? The risk is on annuity owner, the annuitant. They have the risk. So no risk on this, no risk on here. No risk on the fixed. This could be a bonus annuity. This could be flat, just a straight out, hey, we're going to get you our super duper annuity and it pays 4.35% right now. Fluctuates in the market. Every quarter, typically, they'll adjust the interest rates. They'll adjust the payment they're making to you based on interest rates in the market. The bonus may say, well, we give a 5% bonus for all money in the first year. And we're paying 3.95%. That's why when you sell a bonus annuity, you're required to say, you may not make more than the standard because it's getting a little less here, but it's getting you more up front, okay? Just depends on what they're comfortable with. Your job is disclosure. Okay? So a fixed annuity, interest bearing. What are the rates in the market? That's what they're going to get. Maybe a bonus along the way. Keep that mentality and then look up some of the other different types. Okay. But now the equity index, you're choosing indexes to parallel your performance. And they're investing through the general account. The insurance company is getting index options on those. You're not invested directly into those indexes. Most of your money is earning still the same way these are. Okay? So they don't take the whole bucket and buy into index options. You'll go broke. Some of the money is in the general account earning interest just like these, and some of it is in indexes, index options, to help you get the better performance. The whole idea behind the equity index and the variable is to grow the cash values in your annuity. Flat out, that's it. That's the purpose. Now, let's talk about the structure and what periods it has. Let's just talk about, in general, all annuities. Okay, there's an accumulation period. Accumulation period. Annuitization. Now, in the annuitization period, not all people annuitize. Not all people annuitize. They let it go, they take out the required minimum distributions, and they leave it for the kids and family or whatever. They have other reasons for that money, not need for their retirement. But there's always an accumulation period. There has to be. Anybody who tells you different, tell them to check their figures. Because what happens, you're putting in money right away. Here's the date. Here's the start of your money. Right here, you put it in at this date, right here. Now, if it's an immediate annuity, you say, I want it payments every month. Okay, 1 month. That's your first check. So it has a very small accumulation period, but it still has an accumulation period, doesn't it? It's basing everything on the money being in their pocket. They can't just take your money for a month and not pay you. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes, maybe $1 million or more. can't take it for a month and not pay interest on that. Accumulation. As long as money is going in or interest is being paid, you're in the accumulation period. And as I stated, you could be in that until you're 110, if you want. Now at age 70 and a half, and 59 and a half, we have some important dates. If you take money before, 10% penalty, tax penalty. Just like an IRA, a traditional IRA. These are going to work a lot like a traditional IRA. But you're not limited into how much you can put into it. But when you reach 70 and a half, that starts the ball rolling. That starts the government thinking, oh boy, we're going to start getting money soon. By the April 1st, year following 70 and a half. So if you turn 70 and a half, March 10th, you don't have to get it out by April 1st of that year. You can wait till the next year, by April 1st of the next year, until you have to start taking out your required minimum distributions. And it starts somewhere at about 4.25%. And it goes up every year, the percentage. Eventually, they want you to liquidate the whole annuity. Okay? But if you're in a good annuity, an equity index or a variable, and it's doing well, you could have more money even going into the next year and the next year and the next year. You can actually have more money when you die than when it was starting to take money out. Okay? So, you're not required to. If you wanted, you can just take out every year. Take out your required minimum distribution as long as you live. Why would somebody do this? Annuities avoid probate. It avoids probate. Which means it works a lot like you do have a will, whether you don't or not. Whether you do or not, this thing works like a little mini will. These funds are allocated to a beneficiary, to somebody designated. If you don't designate it, it goes into your estate. Okay? Annuitization period. Why would somebody annuitize? Somebody annuitizes because they want a scheduled benefit payout. They've been putting money in here. They put a nice big fat sum here. They let it grow, and now there's 66 getting Social Security, and they said, you know what, we got that annuity, let's supplement it. We're not making much on Social Security, but between our IRAs, our pension, and this annuity, we can start getting payments every month from this, as long as you live. Now, there's also ways to get money to a beneficiary if you die too soon. There's also the life option. The life option pays as long as you live. Stops right then. So if after 5 months you die, the company doesn't owe you anything. That's why there's other options that people prefer. But the life option will have the highest monthly life payment. Okay. So, annuitization cancels this. You don't need to worry about the 70 and a half rule, the required minimum distributions. You're annuitizing. You're already getting your money out. You're paying taxes on all this money, not all of it, but a portion of it. So, annuities, what can you use annuity for? You can put it in your retirement account if you want. You can put it, you can just buy a big chunk of it. Okay? And just have a windfall and you want to set it aside for retirement, put it into an annuity. There's a lot of things